Hey, what's up? Welcome to a new reading vlog. It is Saturday, April 18th. It's 8:43 p.m. 44 now. And as you saw in my last vlog, I started reading the Throne of Glass series. And I am now currently reading The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I think this vlog is gonna be this book and whatever else I read the next couple days, week. Yeah, so I'm already halfway into it. I'm on page 229. I've read there's 5 short stories in this, and I read the first 3. And I'll start with the positives, which is that I'm enjoying so far that the stories seem to connect with each other. It's not one continuous story, but it's all taking place at the same time. And that makes sense? Okay, this is what I'll say. So the first story, I don't remember, The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. The first story sets up the rest of I'm assuming the rest of the short stories. So something happens in The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. And then there are something happens and there are consequences to what happens. And the second story, which is The Assassin and the Healer, is Selena traveling somewhere. And then the third short story, which I just read, which is The Assassin and the Desert, is Selena arriving to the places she was traveling to. And that's where I am so far. So that's one thing that I find like interesting about this short story collection, is that everything's connected. It's not just like a random short stories throughout her entire life. It's just a few stories in this one time period in her life. But that being said, I'm not invested in these stories. I think my favorite one so far has been, weirdly enough, the second one, The Assassin and the Healer. I don't know why, but that's just like the one that I think it's just I liked the other character that was introduced in that short story. But besides that, I'm not really sure why that's my favorite, but so far that's the one I've enjoyed the most. I've enjoyed the most. So what I have left is The Assassin and the Underworld, and then The Assassin and the Empire. From what I have seen, like something happens towards the end of the short story collection that people are just like, oh my goodness, sadness, heartbreak. Don't know what it is, but I want to know what it is. But I'm like, I have to read the short stories to find out what it is. Like, I want to know what it is. Like, what makes people like flip out over this book. But it seems like such a chore to have to read it myself. Even though I'm listening to the audiobook, it still seems like a chore. And I'm like, I don't know, I feel like it's not gonna have such a big impact on me. I don't know why, but I feel like it's not gonna have such a big impact on me as it has on like everyone else has read this book. So those are my thoughts. Also, once I finish this, I do not know when I'm gonna start Heir of Fire, because I think I don't want to take a break from the series. But depending on how this ends, maybe I would want to jump right into Heir of Fire. Who knows? But for right now, I think I'm gonna take a break after I finish the Assassin's Blade and pick up Heir of Fire sometime in the near future. So that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys again, most likely maybe when I don't know, I'll talk to you guys later at some point. I don't know. Hey, what's up? So my phone's charging, so I don't have my phone, but today's Monday, April 20th. It's 12:35 p.m. I'm getting ready for work. My shift starts at 3 today. Closing shift, am I right? Okay, anyways, reading wise, when it comes to the Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas, I haven't read anything else from my last update. I haven't started the fourth short story, which is The Assassin in the Underworld, so don't have any updates on that. But I'm gonna read some more on my commute to work, so that's where I'm gonna start that next short story. But like I said, I think I mentioned, I was like, oh, I might start like a different book, and I did. Technically I started two, not technically, I started two new books. So the first one being House of Marion by J.L. This is a YA fantasy, and I'm on page 34. I'm on chapter 4, and what I can tell you so far about this, all I know is that there's magic, it's an academy, and it's forbidden love. So the three things I can tell you. And from what I've read, I'm intrigued to find out more about this world and like what's going on, and like what the magic is that our main character Quill has, because her mom has to know that she has this magic pretty much her entire life. They've been hiding it her entire life. Like Quill knows that she has magic, but they've been like on the run, so like the magical people, I don't know, don't find her. But at the point that I am now, they're catching on to her. It honestly gives off, like the first bit, gives off a little bit of like Percy Jackson, in the sense of that, well, and Percy, he didn't know that he was, what you call it, not a god. You know, he didn't know. But in this, she does know that she has magic. But like just the whole like hiding is situation, like the parent hiding, I don't know, for some reason it just gives us Percy Jackson vibes to me, like the first few chapters. And then her like, and you know, like Percy like having to like run away in a sense, and then ending up at Camp Half-Blood. And then this, something happens, she ends up having to run away and ends up at this academy. So that's what it's giving off, like a little bit like a Percy Jackson vibes. I don't know, but yeah, like I said, I'm intrigued to find out more about like the magic system in this book, and just like what's going on in general, because obviously things are gonna go down. So yeah, that's the House of Marion. And the other book I picked up, I had to like pick up my room yesterday and like put away laundry, so I was like, oh, I want an audiobook, and I ended up finding If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, which is the first book in the A Meant to Be series. Is a series of Disney books, like adult romance Disney books, like of Disney princesses, but contemporary, like in the modern world. So yeah, so with that one, I can't tell you. I'll put up, there's gonna be a picture here of the book. I'm gonna put up also what percentage I'm up to, and if the shoe fits, because it's an audiobook that I'm listening to. But I'm really liking this book so far, and what I like is like the little like hints of the animated film in the book. So like the one thing I'll say, what is that? Anyways, but the one thing I'll say is I was listening to the book, folding laundry, and then they mentioned how our main character Cindy, her last name is Woods, and I was like, hold up, like Eileen Woods, which is the actress that voiced Cinderella in the animated film in 1950. I'm pretty sure her name is Eileen Woods. So I looked it up. Yep, her name is Eileen Woods. So I know that Cindy's last name being Woods, it's a nod to the original voice actress of Cinderella. So I thought that was like a nice like little nod to the film. And then there are also, because obviously they're not gonna be mice in this, but there's 3 characters named Gus, Mary, and Jack. And I was like, first they mentioned Gus, and I was like, oh my god, they had the names of the mice. And then they were like, oh, the second one, they were like, oh, Mary. And I'm like, the third one has to be Jack. And I was like, and then they were like, Jack. And I was like, yes, I knew it. Love this. And I'm just like very early on in the book, so I'm excited to see like what other like nods to the animated film that was included in this book. So yeah, so like the whole premise of this first book is that there's construction happening outside, I'm sorry, but the whole premise is that Cindy, she's obsessed with shoes. She like went to New York, I forgot what college, to study like shoemaking, and she just graduated, and now she's back in California where her step family lives, her stepmother and 2 stepsisters, obviously. And basically her stepmom produces a reality TV show called Before Midnight, I think it's called, and it's a dating reality show, and there's a Prince Charming, like women trying to like vie for his love or whatever. And what happens is that 2 girls that are supposed to do it back out, so he gets roped into being one of the contestants. And I'm just to the part where they're like filming some of the like pre-show interviews. So yeah, and also I know who they have been like introduced to who the Prince Charming is gonna be, but I know who it's gonna be, and I'm like, it's interesting. But I'm also curious because like the beginning of the book, when she's traveling from New York to LA, she runs into this one character, and I wonder if he's gonna come back up at some other point in the book, because I don't know, because I'm like, I don't know if that was just like to introduce this other character, or if this character that I'm talking about is gonna have a bigger role. Don't know, but I'm excited to see what continues happening throughout the rest of the book. And I'm just gonna pick that book up when I have to do things where I can't be physically reading. But yeah, that's my reading updates for the moment. I'm gonna relax a little bit before I have to actually head out for work, which I'm leaving at like at 1:50 because again my shift was at 3. So yeah, that's the update for now. I'll catch you guys again later. It is Monday, April 27th. It's 11:38 a.m. And let's do an update. So I'm gonna start off with this. On Saturday, I finished reading If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. I ended up rating that 3 stars. It was a cute book. Romance with a Disney twist. And okay, I will say the main thing I liked about it was a little like connections to Cinderella. And I know I mentioned okay. Yeah, so that's like the main thing that I liked about the book. And it was like fun, like picking out, like find all the similarities to the Cinderella movie. But that being said, the romance in general wasn't that amazing. It was fine, it was cute, I guess. But yeah, so that's that. I will say, and I mentioned before, that in this book, Cindy's last name is Woods, which I mentioned original voice actress for Cinderella, what her name is Eileen Woods. And it's not only that Cindy's last name is Woods, her mother's name in the book is Eileen Woods. So I thought that was a nice little tie-in. But yeah, there isn't really much to say about it. Now reflecting back on it, I feel like not much happened in the book. So yeah, it was like a fine romance. It wasn't anything like amazing or like swoony or anything. So yeah, it was just fine. I enjoyed it. 3 stars. Okay, so now onto the other book that I finished. The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. 2.5 stars. See, I'm telling you guys, I knew I wasn't gonna like this book because I never like short story collections, like never. So I'm like, I knew I was not gonna like it again. And okay, no, 100%, I know I wouldn't have liked it more if I had read this first before reading Thorn of Glass / Crown of Midnight. Because I think the main reason I didn't like it was because it's a short story collection. And yes, for the last story, we know a certain character's fate. Like, I knew a certain character's fate because I read Throne of Glass first. But again, if I had read this first, I don't think I would have had any emotional attachment to this character anyways. So I think that my feelings on this book would have been the same whichever order I read the books. So yeah, the one thing that I did like about this book is the fact that they aren't just like random like short stories like throughout her like entire life. They're all connected with each other. It's like it's happening in chronological order, each story. And they're all happening at the same time frame, if that makes sense. Yeah, so it wasn't just like random little short stories, like all big scattered. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, that's the one thing I did enjoy about it. I think I did like the second story, which was Assassin and the Healer, but I think maybe I like that story the most, or I like that story because it was the shortest. So also not thinking about it, would I have liked this story collection more if each of the stories had been cut down to be shorter? It's a possibility, because I felt like the stories were too long. Like, why was the last story, The Assassin and the Empire, an hour and a half on double speed? Like, why is a short story so long? There's no need. Yeah, I'm so glad that I finally got this out the way. This took me so long to read. I don't remember when I actually started it. So glad this is done, and I'm so glad I can move forward in the rest of the series, because I did enjoy the first 2 books, And I didn't love the first 2 books, but I enjoyed them. And I feel like starting from Era of Fire, because there's going to be a location switch and I feel like more characters are going to be introduced, that I'm going to start enjoying the rest of the series more. Fingers crossed. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm excited to continue on with the series. So glad this is done. Why are people so emotionally attached to this book? I couldn't tell you. Don't come for me. Me personally did not like this book at all. That's all I'm gonna say on that. And that is what I read this weekend. And I haven't made any progress in House of Marion because I wanted to freaking finish this, because I'm like, this needs to be done. Also, I focused on Meant to Be because I was just listening to the audiobook. I had to assemble this table thing for my mom, so I listened to it while I was doing that. And then I have a mini fridge in my room and I want to put contact paper on it, so I did that also while I listened to the audiobook. So that's the main reason why I haven't been focusing on House of Marion, but finally I can get back into this. I'm still on chapter 4, page 34, and I'm excited to like fully get immersed into this world and see like what it's all about. So yeah, I have to leave for work in like, oh what, I have to be at work at 3, so that means I have to leave like at 2. So I have like 2-ish, like 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours, because I'm gonna leave at 1:50. Well, actually no, 2 hours, because it's 11:46, so I have 2 hours before I have to leave. I need to eat something. I most likely won't read in these 2 hours, but I will read on the train going to work. So yes, excited to get back into this. At first this was gonna be the end of this video, but then I realized I only had like 2 clips, so I'm gonna continue on. Also, I just remembered that the last clip that you saw was me going to Barnes & Noble. Since this clip is already 8 minutes long, I need to make something to eat. I'm going to talk about the book that I got at some other point in this video, but not right now because I'm hungry and I want to eat, and I've already been talking for 9 minutes. So yeah, so basically Barnes & Noble's doing double points, and I was debating if I should go to Barnes & Noble, and then I was like, oh, while I was on the train, like I had to make my mind while I was on the train, like leaving work, and that's when I realized that Barnes & Noble was doing double points. I was like, yes, that confirms that going to Barnes & Noble. So yeah, at some other point I'll talk about, I only got 1 book in store. I don't know, talk to you guys about that at some other point in this video, but I'm gonna go for the time being. Talk to you guys later. Hey, what's up? So don't even know when I last updated this vlog, but it's Sunday, May 10th. It's 2:41 p.m. I'm low-key annoyed that I wasted most of my day today. I woke up really late. But anyways, okay, so I know the last time I spoke to you guys, I promised you guys a book haul, but first I'll give you an update on House of Marion by JL. I think, is this gonna be the last clip of this video or no? I don't know. Yes. Okay, yeah, okay. This is gonna be the last clip of this video. I'm just gonna give you an update on this book and then give you the book haul, and that's gonna be it. And then I'm gonna start a new vlog because I feel like I need to start a new vlog. I don't know. Anyways, thoughts wise, I don't really have much to give you guys. I'm only on page 55. I'm in the middle of chapter 6, I think. I was reading the cab, yeah, chapter 6. I was reading the cab yesterday when I was coming back home and I was getting sleepy. So I stopped mid-chapter. I had to go to work yesterday. It's a whole big thing. But I agreed to go to work even though I wasn't scheduled to work yesterday. I want to work. Yeah, there's that. But yeah, thought wise on this, I can't tell you much because like I said, I'm only 55 pages in, so there's that. I was thinking of stop DNFing this until and like picking it up when I was more interested in reading this, because there are other books right now that I'm more interested in reading. One of them being one of the books that I bought from the Barnes & Noble double stamps sale. It wasn't a sale, double stamps weekend. But yeah, I will say Quell just got to the house of Marion, and now she's separated from her mother. She has to step into this world and try to like figure out like what the heck is going on. Pretty much. So I think I will. What I am gonna do though, the ebook was available on Libby, so I did get it. I'm reading on my Kindle, like on my commute to and from work, just because it's easier to travel with a Kindle versus the physical book, even though it's not that big. It's easier to like take out of my bag and put back into my bag. Also, I've been taking a lot of cabs back home from work, and a lot of times I work closing shifts, so if I'm in a cab, it's easier to read on this because there's light in this, and then hopefully I can start like getting more into this. Yeah, so there's that. So now let me give you the book haul. The one book that I got at Barnes & Noble, like when I went, because all the other books that I wanted I couldn't find at the location, so I randomly picked up this book. Basically, this book, I never thought that I would want to read this book, but for some reason recently I've been like, maybe I want to read it, so I decided to pick it up, which is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. This is the first book in the, I don't know if this has the series has a name, but it's the first book in the series. It follows Alex Stern, a freshman in Yale, and what you call it, there's like secret societies, I think, something like that, but it's like a bit like, I think a bit of a mystery. I don't really know. It's dark academia, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna get to this. Sometime soon. I just don't know. I feel like I should be reading this during fall, but there's so many books coming out this fall that I'm so excited to read that I'm like, I don't know if I will get to it this fall, that I'm like, maybe I should just read it this summer, but I'm like, it doesn't feel like a summer book, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this. I just randomly like thought like maybe I want to read this now, so we'll see. Then the other book that, so for the on the Barnes & Noble website to get double stamps, I got 3 books, and this book I randomly saw, I think on Instagram, and yeah, so I saw this book on Instagram, and then I saw what it was about and like who it was about, because it's like history but like with a twist. And okay, so I'll just show you the book. Okay, so the book that I got is The Beheading Game by Rebecca Lehman. So if you guys don't know, okay, so this book is about Anne Boleyn, which if you don't know, I'm obsessed with 60 Musical, which is about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn being one of his wives, wife number 2, the beheaded queen, or one of the beheaded queens. So, and 60 Musical, Anne Boleyn's my favorite queen. I love them all, but Anne Boleyn's my favorite. There's just something about her. It is about Anne Boleyn. So basically, it's like, I guess it's like we could consider an alternate history with like, I guess a little bit of like magical elements, because Anne Boleyn, it starts off with Anne Boleyn getting beheaded. We all know that happens. The beheading game. And then she wakes up with her head on her lap, beheaded, and And basically, somehow she sews her head back on, and she is on a path of revenge. I'm not sure revenge is the right word, but what she's gonna do is she is going to get rid of Henry VIII permanently, if you know what I mean. And she needs to do that before he marries wife number 3, Jane Seymour, the only one he truly loved. If you know, you know. So yeah, oh my god, that sounds so good. I'm so excited to get into this. This is just 300 pages. I will tell you, the feel of the book, I don't like it, but I'm sure that what's inside this book I'm gonna love. Yeah, that's what the beheading game is about. And this is the first book I'm gonna pick up, and my new reading vlog is gonna be about this because I need to read this ASAP. So that's the second book I got. The next book is Lady Tremaine by Rachel Hosser. I'm not in love with the Reese's book club thing over here, but basically this is the story of Cinderella, but from Lady Tremaine's perspective, I believe. Yeah, so Cinderella from Lady Tremaine's perspective. I'm excited to read this also. It's always fun to read fairy tales from the perspectives of like the villain of the story, and just seeing like their thought process and what like their backstory is, and like what they're actually thinking, you know. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for this. The last book I got is a book that I've been meaning to get for a while now. I don't even know when this book came out, but every time that I went to Barnes & Noble, I just go to this one location. I'll say it. It's my favorite location in New York City. It's the one on the Upper West Side. I know everyone is obsessed with the one in Union Square. Cause like, is it 4 floors? I think it's 4 floors. It's 3 or 4. I can't remember. I haven't been into the Union Square one in a while. But compared to the one in Union Square, the one on the Upper West Side is so chill. Like, Union Square is super busy. It's a super busy area, and the one on the Upper West Side is a more calm, it's a more like family neighborhood, so it's more chill. So yeah, so it's never as busy as the one in Union Square. Also, it's not as busy as the one on 5th Avenue. That one's also pretty busy, but I feel like the one in Union is probably the most busy. So yeah, anyways, I ran over about all the Barnes & Noble locations. I haven't been to the new one on the Upper East Side though. I need to check that one out at some point. But the book that I got that I could never find at Barnes & Noble, it's Arcana Academy, the first book in the, I have no idea what the name of this series is, but it's the first book, book 1 by Elise Kova. I couldn't even tell you what this is about. It's some sort of academy. It's also, I think it's dark academia, like 9th houses. Okay, so I'll just read this little part because I don't remember what this is about. A woman who wields magical tarot cards lands herself in a false engagement with the headmaster of Mysterious Academy in the first installment of the enthralling fantasy romance series from the best-selling author of A Deal with the Elf King. Anyways, so yeah, so it's a pretty what dark academia. Is it dark academia? I don't know. Maybe it's just academia. I don't know. But no, maybe it's not dark academia. Maybe it's just from romancy and false and fake engagement, false relationship. I don't know, but I know when I first read the synopsis for it, I was really excited for it, and I finally got my hands on it. I ordered it from barnesandnoble.com, got my double stamps, and I will say this. I knew about the gilded edges, but I didn't realize how thick this book is. I think it's over 500 pages. Oh, there's a glossary in the back. Yeah, it's 544 pages. I didn't expect it to be so thick. When am I gonna get to this? I'm not sure, but hopefully soon. So yep, that was my little book haul that I got from Barnes & Noble for double stamps. And I'm excited to get to all these books, obviously, because I bought them. So now there's music outside. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully it was somewhat entertaining. And I'll catch you guys here next time on Yari Hearts Books. Bye.